Good morning, everybody. It's time to get into some more stuff. And today, we're going to focus on this.
And turn it into this.
So, got this thing running, driving pretty good. Now we need to make it look and feel a little more inviting on the inside, because it is not right now. We're going to be repainting these doors, repainting the door cards, replacing the seat cover, and probably redoing the floors in here as well. So we're going to go and get everything cleaned up, wiped down, paint it off, and see if we can't put some lipstick on this pig. Here we go. For those that don't remember, this thing is a mess right now on the inside. We've got these hideously faded and painted a couple times door panels. I'm pretty sure this is house paint that's been put on this door. Steering wheel's missing the center section. That door panel looks actually better than the other side, but still pretty rough. No headliner. We're not going to do that yet. That'll be down the line, but we got to get the rest of this tackled. The seat cover is just falling off, and it's even the seat cover's torn. So I'm going to go through, redo all that, clean these floors up. We got to really just kind of give it the old once over, make her presentable. First things being the first things, let's get this panel off, and then we'll sand this door down a little bit. Paint the panel, paint the door. Somebody's just put some self-tappers in to hold that together. I kind of like that approach, but we'll see if we can't do something a little prettier to put it back together. Maybe. All right, handle's got to come off. Got to take this cup out. Handle should be a giant, giant Phillips head, little Phillips head. Actually, put this all the way down. That way, when we paint, we don't have to tape it off. And I'll tape off the holes behind here so we don't get it on the window. This one, we're just gonna boop, boom. And removed. Orange was our original color. I was kind of curious, actually. Boy, that is disgusting. Should probably yank that speaker out of there too. Also self-tappered in there. All right. Tape off the openings for the window and sand this thing down. Let's get a little sanding done on this, what I'm assuming is house paint. Get a little medieval on it here. This guy. So the previous theme here must have been good enough. That's the only thing I can think of, because this is awful. I think there's like 3 or 4 different colors. It was definitely black originally, and then I think it was painted orange, pretty well. And then blue at one point, and then like a purplish color, like a plum, and then red. And it's like a Picasso, you know, or a Monet, I guess. I just wanted to get the loose stuff off. It's going to be pretty wavy. It's going to take a lot of sanding to get all that all the way down. What I'm going to do, though, I think is just I'm going to hit it with a little block, sanding block, real quick, tape it off, and then we're going to prime the crap out of it just to kind of build some of that up and sand it, and then hit it with the red. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Oh my. That's smoothing it out pretty good. This is 120. I'm going to chase it with 220. And then I'll find out see whatever the finest stuff I've got is. But this is taking it off pretty well, actually. Not going to stress too much on the insides here. It's only going to be seen when the door's open. If it's a little wavy, that's all right. But the parts you're going to see, I would like to look decent. If we're going to do anything on this truck, it's going to look better than it did before, but I don't want to be embarrassed by my final product. Just doing some detail work on this fine collector's item. All right, we just got to spritz this thing down and clean it now. Let's take it off. Tape off time. The wind is cooperating amazingly. You think Florida's sunny all the time. This is actually how it is most of the time. So, hate to break it to you folks. Yeah, sure. Like it. Love it. Yeah. Got it taped off, got the window down, got the side window covered, got all those holes covered so the window won't get hit there. That speaker well's open, but the mirror or the window doesn't go down that far. So we're gonna say that's good and ready for paint. Wipe it down one more time and hit it. As far as prep goes, I shut the garage door to not get overspray on the Jeep. That's all we're doing. I wiped it down again with the surface prep cleaner, the CMX, and we're gonna rock and roll on it. See what we get. I'll start down low here, get my confidence on this bigger section before I start working on these little areas. Again, can we make it worse? We might need to. We're going to need to prime it. This red is not going to cover up all these colors. I guess we'll do it the right way, huh? Yep. Dries in 30 minutes or less. Handles in 1 hour. Apply additional coats or your top coat anytime. Okay. It's anytime. whenever I'm running almost out of a can, switch to a discrete area, because if it spits, you don't want it messing up what you just spent all your time really trying to make look nice. So we're gonna focus on this jam, because if it spits, I won't care. And that's all she wrote. First coat's on. That actually looks pretty good. And on it, looks pretty even. It's very light in spots though. That was the first coat. Just kind of spritzing it. Medium coat just to get it red. This next coat's gonna be what makes it look nice. I'm gonna go probably one more medium and then a heavy. Gotta clean this door panel, hit it with the CMX, and then we're gonna give it a spritz with black, shine it up so when we put it back on the door, she'll look real nice. All right, let's get set up in our paint booth. Yeah. Whoops, we don't want to get stuff on our stuff here. Great. Thanks, Wind. Can't believe it. We did so much prep work. Can't catch a break here. Florida. Should be nice and sunny. What the hell? Boom. We're gonna try and fix another annoying thing we've had with this truck since we got it, which is this big hole in the roof. Somebody drilled a hole for what looks like probably a CB radio, something like that in the past. And I had it just taped over, but I want something a little more secure than that. So I ordered online this grommet set. And we've got these little rubber grommets that come in all different sizes. We're going to try and find the right size for our hole here and get this thing plugged off and sealed up with some silicone. And I think this guy is going to be the ticket. Let me bring you on in with a different accessory here. There we go. Hi. So it's our grommet set. This guy looks like the ticket. This is where it's going. So I'm going to try to one-handedly here, just dab a little silicone. This is marine grade epoxy silicone. It's good stuff. Dab a little bit around the edge of this hole to help bite on it. Okay. And then slide this grommet right on in. Yep. Like that. Get a little more of this silicone here and just rim right around it. This is marine grade. This stuff will cure underwater, this silicone here. So we're gonna give it a good slather. Got it all the way around the bead. Boom. Repaired. Look at us getting stuff done today. So here's our grommet siliconed on. From the inside, once the headliner's in, you won't see that at all. And the truck's high enough, you really can't see it anyway if you're just standing at, I'm holding the camera at eye level now. Can't hardly tell it's there. We could paint it red if we want, of course, but getting somewhere. Door's looking great. It's drying Really nice, actually. It's got a good shine to it. That enamel paint looks good. It's the same red we did our hooks on the Jeep with. So we got that cooking. Got our door panel looking nice over there. This thing's gonna be coming back together here as soon as this all dries. All right, let's go ahead and yank this gnarly seat cover out of here. See what we got going on underneath. Boom. This is going directly into the trash can. Passenger side's actually not horrible. This side's pretty worse for wear. I think what we're going to do is cut some of this out of here just to make it a little more comfortable, because it's going to be not very comfortable the way it is. Sitting at all these weird angles and poking on you. All right, we'll call that good enough. I do have new seat belts for this thing too. They're lap belts instead of the shoulder style, because this one has been cut and then tied back together. For sake of cleanliness, cut it up here. Let that feed into the retractor. Take this box off here. And that's going to take a hefty star bit right there, which I probably have inside. We'll go ahead and yank that thing out. Probably going to be one of these guys, a T50 or a T55. T50 is the winning number there. So grab a 3/8 ratchet and we'll bust that loose. Delete. And we'll just finger tighten that back in for now so we don't lose it. All right, we're going to be chasing the weather here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to finish cleaning up a little bit here. We got the old seat belts out. We got the seat cover out. So we've started kind of disassembling interior. Maybe I'll at least just roll the window up and put the panel inside, get the door shut, so at least it won't get messed up. The door barely touches this rubber gasket anyway, so I don't think that's going to hurt anything. And then we can go to the other side until it starts raining and start working on getting the seat belt removed on that side, and maybe get the new seat belts installed before this weather hits us. I feel like I have ADD today because I'm all over the place, but we got everything pretty well cleaned up. Then I decided I want to try and fix the striker, because this door flops all around like mad, and it had a bunch of electrical tape wrapped around it. So I bought this a while back. It's a kit, a doorman, you know, one of the help desk kits, and it's a Ford striker bolt and bushing kit, but it says it's for a tailgate. I figured, why couldn't it work on this? And I'm just gonna plop it in here, but it's also a little bit long, so I need to trim it down just a tickle too, all the way around. I think that might just do it. That's close. I need to trim a little off this corner still. Boom. We'll see if it can even bite around that. It's a little loose and floppage, but maybe I even trim a little off it, see if it'll close in more, wrap some electrical tape around it again maybe, but we'll try it like that first. See what that does. And then I'm sure the striker needs to be moved in as well, and that's going to take that socket that we just had in. Yep. Oh, you know what? That is 2 pieces. I didn't have to slice this thing. I could have just slid it on. Well, that's a bummer. Let's use this one on the passenger side. How about that? Let's see if we can get... Well, I don't know. This washer doesn't want to come off, so maybe you do have to do it that way. I had these 2 washers to shim it out. We'll keep that on there since that part of the alignment seemed good. Left to right seemed fine. It just needs to come in on the truck some. Quite a bit, actually. So we're going to try like right there, maybe, to start. And let's just snug fit this thing. That still needs to go quite a bit in. Let's just go as far in as it'll go. That's going to be the ticket right there. Tighten that up. Call that good. Cool. I like it. We're going to do some more of the same on the other side. We're going to cut our seat belt off. And before we cut it, we'll actually pull a little out so it'll suck it in there. Gone forever. And then down low here, you probably can't quite see it. We've got our star bit, and we're just gonna unscrew this seat belt out of the bottom. Once we get all this stuff out and that paint dries, we'll vacuum the inside of this thing real good. And then we're gonna have to do some license plate work or something to the floors and then paint them as well. I got some satin black we'll probably hit those with. The dash, I don't know that I'm gonna paint. I think I'm gonna leave the character on it, just clean it up real good. For now, that's what I'm gonna do anyway. That's what I'm going with. This door looks to be the original paint too, and I don't think I'm gonna repaint it. I'm just gonna clean it because it's really not too bad. And I want some original character on it. I don't know that we need to paint this door as well, so we'll probably leave it be. All right, that one's out. We're gonna finger tighten the screw back in so as not to get the threads all dirty when we clean. There's just loose old hardware everywhere too. So we gotta really go through this old gal. This door panel, kind of a bummer. It's missing the pad for the armrest. Maybe I can make something for that. It's got the chrome trim, but since that side doesn't, I think I'm actually going to paint over the trim and just make it black too, because I'd rather it match than have chrome on just one side. Cool. We'll leave these on here. At least they will match everything else in the truck. They'll clean up, and we'll just leave those up there. So those behind it is probably painted, but probably a totally different color than the rest of the truck. At least it's all faded together. It'll kind of blend in. You won't really notice it. We're gonna unscrew what was left of these visors that are rusted in place and look awful. So those are gonna come out. Take this panel off, and then it's cleaning up. Before you freak out about me taking the seat belts out, I am putting new ones in. I've got them in the house. They're just lap belts because these shoulder straps never work right anyway, and half the time they ratchet, they tighten up, and then they won't loosen again, which is really annoying. And this one's not as bad as the other side. The other side was actually completely severed and tied together. But I mean, if you look, I mean, this thing's just fraying apart. I mean, it's really not doing a lot. So this had to go. we got some new red ones to install. Look at that pitiful sun visor. We're gonna do away with him. Both sides. The one they actually cut off, they left the bar for some reason, which is kind of funny. This hardware we'll put in the ashtray. Remind me that that's where I put those. Gnarly. Look at that thing. Disgusting. This one's actually not froze up. We could potentially recover it. So I'm going to throw it inside for now and not throw it away. The other side needs another piece of cardboard because someone cut it, but that might be salvageable too. We'll see. Let's get you in there. Beep. Yeah. Sound effects and everything. It's fancy. Fancy here on this channel. Just getting rid of some of this gnarly stuff in here makes it look better. What I'd like to do is find a centerpiece for right there that has the mirror attached to it. That would make it a lot sturdier. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get I've got a rearview mirror, actually, a spare in the garage, and I'll glue it to the windshield like it was. So you can see somebody's just cut this one because it's kind of frozen up in here. But we might be able to lube and grease that up, get this functional again, and somehow adhere a new piece of cardboard to it. But I say that, but probably not. What we'll probably do is just never reinstall them. All right, that's out. Let's get this door panel off. All right, got the other door panel off. Got all those little spring clips out of there. Neither door was opening properly from inside the truck. It's like the mechanism's just frozen up. So there's this little fitting right here. I need to squeeze this back together. It's just like a little, it's almost like it's riveted, pop riveted, but it's come up a little bit and it's really tight in there. It's making this whole thing want to flop around. So we're gonna try and tighten up that screw, squeeze that back together, lube everything up. I bent this rod out and then we can get our action back, because if you help it, it does operate. But you can see there's so much play in there, it's kind of got it all wonky. So let's clean that up. So I'm not tearing my fingers up. Let's finger tighten this back on for a minute. Oh yeah, look at that action now. Right as rain. Fixed. All right, I think that's about as far as we're gonna take her today. But she's looking pretty good. We got this door painted. We got both side panels painted. Started getting the interior gutted and cleaned. But it's starting to drizzle right now. So we're going to get this door shut, protected, and we'll finish this thing up tomorrow. Well, it went ahead and became another day. It's actually become a few other days before it was today. This thing's been sitting for a little bit. I've got a bunch of projects going on right now. The pool's pretty far along at this point, and I've got a bunch of stuff recorded for that. I just need to get edited so I can throw it up for you guys. Been tinkering with this thing a little bit. We've been doing some other stuff with the other trucks too, but it's time to get back on this and finish it up. So we'll get the interior put back together, cleaned up, and then this bad boy should be good to go. And then at least we can scratch something off our list and start focusing on the super cab, which is really where I want my attention anyway.
Let's go ahead and get these door panels on and fit it up and start getting this interior back together here.
Other side. Gotta charge my wireless mics because they're both dead. I guess we didn't pull this speaker. Speaker's also not wired in. I mean, the other one's barely wired in, so I guess I shouldn't be super surprised. There's not even actually a stereo in it because somebody took it out. Whatever. All clean and vacuumed out. We did find some goodies. Got a fuel filter, got a T25 bit, got a light bulb, a tiny Phillips head, and 2 of the 3 stands for a Christmas tree. There's 1 and there's 2, but we don't have the 3rd one, so that's not quite worth anything. Actually, those are so small, those might be from a model rocket. I'm not really sure. Anywho, I want to do some test painting on the floor to see what's going to look decent. So we did vacuum it out crudely. This is not going to be perfect by any means. I'm going to wipe it down, but I just want to do a test shot before we wipe it and see what color is going to take to it. So I can do the red and blast it with that. Or we can go satin black with it, which, my goodness, pinch and pull. I think I like the black. I don't know, what do you think? I think the black's going to be the ticket. I think the black hides better. Let's wipe it down and hit it with that. All right, go time. Bam! Brand new floors. Since we're running out of daylight, which is the worst time to try and paint anything, I figured I'd get fancy and paint the glove box face. Since I had the satin black out anyway, wiped it down, took the badge off, taped everything back. We're gonna go ahead and give it a little spritz. Coat done. Let's back up. I'm going to come in and buff and wax actually that and this door. Bring it around, and then honestly the interior looked pretty good. I have a new bezel trim. Most of these gauges aren't wired up anyway, so these are actually going to come out. I think we're going to put a radio in here maybe at some point. Okay. Nice, actually. It's gonna be nice for a $1,200 truck. Well, it's not a $1,200 truck anymore, but it used to be. She's coming around though. Truth be told, I actually think this truck has a little more personality than the Super Cab does, which is why I'm spending more time on this, I think. But once the Super Cab's done, it'll be I think a nicer driver. But man, I don't know. This thing's just got some character to it. All right, last coat, and then we'll be done painting for tonight because we can't see nothing. This should be dry enough. Maybe we throw the seat belts in it, throw the seat cover on it, and then crank her up. We're going to move her over to the side and park it for the night. I think that actually came out pretty nice. Looks good and even. I dig that. Let's see if we can get the tape. I like to pull the tape off while it's still a little wet, just to keep it from sticking. But the trick is you don't want to let it touch anything. Oh yeah. Boom. Yeah. It's got a little bit of orange peel in it, but we're also putting a bright flash on it, which is not helping the way she looks, but man, that came out nice. Today we finished lipsticking this pig. So we got the Floor's all cleaned out, painted. Got a wasp hanging out in there, wondering why his house is so clean now. Gonna do the seat cover today. We got the door panels on. Those look nice. We got this door painted up. It's looking good. Repainted some of the dash. I'll show you that in a little bit. So really all that's left is our new seat belts, seat cover, get the seat area buttoned up. And then I want to clean up this dash a little more. I'm either going to replace this bezel with a replacement I have in the garage. It's in, I think, a little bit better shape. Or if we decide not to do that, we'll at least take this one and clean it up really good, maybe even repaint it. So let's go ahead and get jamming on it, get this thing done. Oh, side note, yesterday, and you saw in the video last night when I was trying to move the truck over into the side yard, it stalled out on me, and I actually cropped the video. It stalled out a couple times anytime I put it under load in gear, but it would rev pretty good at park and neutral. Checked it, accelerator pump was good, it was squirting just fine. I actually backed off the accelerator pump so it doesn't kick as early, and started wrapping around on it with a little hammer and tapping on it, and I think it was just a stuck float. I did that, put it in high gear, and just kind of moved my hand on and off of the intake just to kind of suck some air through there, create vacuum, and eventually I guess something dislodged, it smoothed out, started running good. Now the thing runs like a top. You can give it light throttle, hard throttle, doesn't matter. It just takes it, needs it. So guess we're good there. Just a sticky float from this thing sitting a lot. It needs to be driven, which is why we need to finish it. So let's go ahead and finish getting this thing cleaned up, and I'll show you guys the final product. So here's what we're putting in. These are from Retro Manufacturing. They have two companies. They sent me stickers that actually said Retro Sound on them, so I think they make like the stereos that look like old stereos. But they also have a company called Retro Belts, and that's where I got these. And I don't like having the shoulder belts in these trucks, at least the older ones, because they always sag, they're always uncomfortable, they never fit right, they're sloppy. So I went with a lap belt setup in this truck, which is still going to be safer than no seat belt. But so here's our fancy new ones. Looks very much like the old 90s style Ford belts, actually. And it's the obnoxious bright red, which I think it's not a perfect match or anything, but it looks good. And that'll look nice with our red seat covers, I think. So we're going to pull one of these bolts. Let's just see if these holes are actually reamed out to the right size. And they are not. It's a little bit off. So I actually need to put the step bit through these and open them up just to tickle before we install them. So we're going to take them over to the bench vise, throw the Christmas tree bit on, and hog these bad boys out. We know the other side's going to be the same, so we'll do it on both. See, here's what I'm talking about here. We've got the factory set up, the T50 or whatever head, and we've got this standard hex head here. That fits in there just fine. This one fits in, but it doesn't get to the non-threaded part that would allow it to pivot and rotate. So I could either run it all the way down into the floor with these other ones and lock it in one direction, or I can run this down part way, which I don't really like the sound of, and then try and double nut the bottom to the floor to keep it from backing out. I'm not in love with that setup. Or I just ream this out and go with the factories. Let's climb a little. Whee! There it is. All right. And we're just going to give it just a little. Whoa, almost there. Let's clean that up a little. All right. We're going to do buckle on this side. This will be this guy. And actually, this is the only one that we reamed out successfully for the old hardware. This. Bam. That is in there. Now we do the other side, which means we need to flip this bad boy up. Alright, that's all the way forward. Oh yeah. Room for days. Take it apart. Put that bolt there. Take the old end belt, this belt off here, that belt off over there. The center ones we're going to leave. We're going to keep them intact and then reassemble. So on the inner bolts here, this bolt is not stepped. It does lock it down in one solid position. So I was able to use the existing hardware without the step bit. So we're going to do the same over here. Pull that one off, then move to that end, and then we're done. It's going to be nice getting in this thing and not feeling just super grungy. Kind of looking forward to that. We're going to run the new hardware on this side since the step bit conked out on us. It's the passenger side anyway, you know. We're going to run this down tight. Then I'm going to double nut it from the underside to keep it from trying to back out. Tight. Yep. All right. All the belts are in. Time for the new cover. I went with the saddle blanket, of course. Comes with head covers, which means there must be holes in the top for headrests, which we ain't got. But this should be the nicer one piece without the stupid soft stretchy nylon in it. So this one should be pretty thick and decent quality. Yeah, that looks pretty nice actually. This is the bottom because it's got the pockets. So let's just kind of throw it in here. Let's just get it crudely laid first. It's got these little clips that'll hold it in all the way around, which is nice. And I'm probably going to pop holes in it and then zip tie it in spots too to keep it from slopping all over the place, you know? But that's going to fit pretty good, I think. Off the other end, it totally pulled out of the stitching. Cheese ball. I guess that's what happens when you buy the cheapest one available. Yeah, it just pulled the threads right out. So here's a little hack for you. These seats, because they're truly woven, you can find a good strong spot, like right here. And if you take a zip tie, you can actually wiggle and finesse and poke and prod And it will come all the way through the other side, like so. You can chain a couple together if you need some extra distance, and then you can find an appropriate spot to pull and cinch them to make additional hold downs. So that's what we're going to do right here. Get it in the spot you want it and just cinch it down. And then you got a nice form-fitted seat. Make sure you do it in a thick spot, or like right here, farther back, so that you actually have some grab to it, so you're not just tearing the fabric. What they did when they stitched that piece of crap across here, they stitched it just to the very end threads, and it just pulled all the threads apart, and that's what destroyed it. We're not going to make that mistake, because we know better than them. That ought to be good. I'm going to do the same thing over here. You can see it's got all this floppage in here. So what we're going to do is add our zip ties to tighten this corner up. Don't do it too tight, you don't want to tear it. Even at that tension, you can see it's starting to pull just a little, but that's holding it nice and firm and straight. Now, when we look at it from the front again, look at that, good and firm and snug. That actually looks like a nice seat cover. We're going to do another one down in this corner. Adjust some of these straps in here to snug that up, and then we're done. Go ahead and put our dash back together a little bit. We got our Ranger badge, quadruple aught steel wool polished up. Let's go ahead and get it back on here. We're going to adjust this while we're at it too, because this drives me nuts. Alright, so that's down. In here. And it's just got these little nutserts almost, that they're just like tin pressed caps that hold it in. And they twist down onto the metal, bite into it, they're soft. You don't want to overdo these, because it will just break them clean off. A little quarter turn on each. Boop. And boop. Yeah. Alright, glove box is back together. Emblems in it. We're going to go ahead and take the dash bezel out, which is held in, of course, with two self-tappers and a Phillips head, which is not standard protocol, but I'll allow it. It actually was in there pretty well. I'm going to try and take it out without cracking and breaking it all apart. It's pretty brittle plastic, and it's already got a lot of stress on it, because whoever put it in last put it in wrong, and this tab, which is supposed to be tucked up under, was not, so it was flexing the entire time. So I'm a little worried that it'll be bowed and not want to go back in right, but we'll see. Okay. See if we get the button out of the light switch. Don't recall, so we got to feel around for it. Oh, there it is. Out. let the lights out. Got the pin pulled. If you're careful, you can push that button in, pull the lights out, and then stick that back in and click the lights back off so you don't kill your battery. So in their infinite wisdom, they installed those gauges, which are not connected to anything except for the temperature one is. And then the switch that runs the wipers is installed on here. We'll pull those. Remember, the black wire was on the bottom of that, all right, for me? All right, we got the bezel out. It's washed and we're letting it dry. Yeah, we're gonna take that all the way out because that's pretty gross. We can make it look way better taking that plastic film off and cleaning it and putting it back. All right, and out. So this is what I was saying is weird. These wires are drilled in. I'm not sure what those feed. Obviously, that's not a factory setup. Some of the light pins are missing. I might have some extras, and obviously the ones that are in will need good bulbs. We might be able to bring this back around. All right, we're gonna go ahead and crack this bad boy open. So it's just got these little push pins in the corners. Wiggle and work them loose. Set them off to the side. They'll go if you bribe them. I'm trying not to use a screwdriver because I don't want to squeeze them too tight and have them not want to go back in. These bottom three rather, look like you can just lift and shimmy this thing upwards. Oh, we got one more up here. Think, boom, out. So this needs to be cleaned, and then the inside of this needs to delicately also be cleaned. And then we'll reassemble. I'll take this inside and wash it, and then we'll come back in and do this part out here by hand. Got this thing pretty well cleaned inside. It's still got some funk on it, but it's in there pretty good, and there's also some scratches in it, so I'm afraid to go too hard on it. So I don't want to ruin it, make it worse. I have a lot of extra parts for these trucks, but I don't have another one of these lenses. You can order them online pretty cheaply as a replacement. Again, I don't know that this truck will necessarily warrant that, but it's always something we could do later on. It's really not that hard to get this dash cluster out. So for now, we're just going to clean this one up and reassemble with it. And should we get the wild hair and want to change it later, we always have that option. Okay, so that is clean. Now we want to try and clean this thing out carefully without getting anything up in it. It still looks pretty gnarly. So we will end up getting a replacement for that. I just want to wipe this down just a little here. It's going to be behind the dash still, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I want to be working on it and not get nasty. We're going to try and clean these contacts up with just a little bit of sandpaper. We're going to see if we have stuff to replace the bolts in those. I believe I do have lights for that. Right here. I don't think these are the exact same style. I might be able to make them work. Things. So let's go ahead and plug this boy back in and finish assembly. All right, let's see what we ended up with. Bam. Got our fancy door panel and our repainted door. Looks good. We got our sweet seat cover on and looking good and tight. We got our fancy new belts installed. Floors painted. Dash is wiped down. We re-blacked the glove box area, cleaned that badge, made that look good. Got the gauge cluster cleaned. It's not perfect. It probably needs that new plastic, but overall, major improvement. This thing's actually a really presentable interior now. Look at that. And honestly, none of this really cost anything except for the belts and the seat cover. Everything else was just some lipstick. So really, this is a super cheap little improvement. I think the seat cover was like 30 bucks, 40 bucks, and the seat belts were like, I think 25 each. So less than $100 we've got in this interior. Snazzing it up, and again, not perfect, but for this truck, that is a very clean, very presentable interior that matches this thing real well. Now she's ready to hit the road and enjoy a little bit. She needs a little bit still. I mean, obviously there's some things that need to be done. Windshield wipers, for one, need to be fixed. New arms put on and new blades. The windshield is pretty foggy. Could use replacing, but not necessary. We just need to clean it up. We have some new decals for the top we'll put on it at some point. We got it cleaned up, new wheels, new brakes all the way around. I mean, she's rough around the edges, but that's kind of the point of this truck. It's that rugged, take it anywhere, do anything with it truck. And now she's ready for us to enjoy. I'd say that's a pretty solid transformation for a truck that was left for dead on all flat tires to this. Let's go enjoy it. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time when we do more stuff.